You already know who it is, James Carter TV, and it is time for my first NFL mock draft. I'll be making a couple mock drafts. Come back next week, this day, Friday, for my mock draft for next week. And then I'll also make one probably the day before the draft. So 3 mock drafts. I think that's pretty decent, pretty well. Because we all know that the NFL draft is coming up. So we gotta start talking about it. We gotta start going through it. So here's my first ever mock draft. It may take a while, but hopefully you stay here. Let's start it off with the #1 overall pick, the Indianapolis Colts. We all know what it is. Andrew Luck, quarterback out of Stanford. I know some people prefer Robert Griffin III over him, but I think that's just people nitpicking. I think that's just people wanting probably just to go against the crowd. But honestly, Andrew Luck is the best quarterback in this draft. Probably the best quarterback prospect since Peyton Manning. You have to take Andrew Luck. And don't get me wrong, I am a huge Robert Griffin III fan. Now I'm not a big college football guy, but I just watching him, I really like his character. I really like his intelligence, his intangibles. I really, really like Robert Griffin III. The really problem with Andrew Luck is he's not really. And this is exactly why. I'm not saying people are nitpicking. I mean, come on, let's be honest. He's not the best looking guy on the planet. But we're not picking quarterbacks off of looks. We are picking quarterbacks off of talent. And Andrew Luck is just that much better than Robert Griffin III. If I had to pick something, I can't really pick anything. You could say, if there's anything, Andrew Luck actually was in a more of a pro style offense, and Robert Griffin III is gonna have to adjust to more of a pro style offense. So that's probably the only bad thing you can say about him. And Andrew Luck is a bit bigger, and that also helps when it comes to it. But don't get me wrong, these two quarterbacks are going to have great history. It'd also be very interesting to see them facing the Super Bowl maybe 5 years from now, 6 years from now. Redskins versus Colts, or hell, maybe one of them gets traded to another team or whatever. But that'd be very interesting to see. But Andrew Luck is my #1. Now, the first year, though, I don't know if they're going to do that great because, I mean, he doesn't have that many weapons. I mean, he has Reggie Wayne now. Well, you know, you would have had him already. But they lost Pierre Garçon. They lost Anthony Gonzalez. They lost Dallas Clark. They actually released him. They released Joseph Adai. So now I guess their starting halfback is Donald Brown or DeLone Carter. I don't know, they're going to have to figure that one out. So Andrew Luck is more set up to do worse, which is fine for me because I'm a Titans fan. I'm fine with that one. But that's why I think, and the Redskins did a great job putting talent around Robert Griffin III. They got Josh Morgan from the 49ers. They got Pierre Garçon from the Colts. So they're really setting him up with some nice receivers. They already have Santana Moss and Jabbar Gaffney. Yes, I said Jabbar Gaffney. And, well, since I already just said, you know, the second overall pick, Redskins pick, Robert Griffin III. Hopefully he brings some class to that organization, some hope to that organization, because they really do need it. After all these years, you know, switching through quarterbacks, Wes Grossman, John Beck, the new Shanahan era, so they really need just some upbringing. Hopefully Robert Griffin III brings some grace to the Washington Redskins. My 3rd overall pick, the Minnesota Vikings. There's been some rumors of them trading down, but I have yet to see that yet. So I'm going to go with Matt Kalil, the offensive tackle out of USC. I think he's the real deal. I mean, he's going to be one of the best tackles. Probably going to start at left tackle, I believe. I think it's a real deal. I think it really is a great offensive tackle. Not much to say about Minnesota Vikings. They could go Blackmon, but I doubt it. I really do see them taking Matt Kalil because he's just such a big tackle, and they really want to rebuild that offensive line. Cleveland Browns, I have Trent Richardson out of Alabama, running back, going here. There's been some debate about Justin Blackmon being picked here, but I'm going to go on to that later, but I have them picking a wide receiver in the second, hold on, someone messaged me, okay, on Facebook, but I really do see them taking a wide receiver with their second first-round pick, and I'll get to that later. But I see them taking Trent Richardson because he's so good, because he's such a stud running back. They lost Peyton Hillis, they weren't able to get him back. Now they're starting running back as Montario Hardesty. Really? Yeah. They're getting Trent Richardson, and he will not disappoint. Some of you fantasy owners might want to pick him up. Let's go with the number 5 overall pick. We have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers choosing Morris Claiborne out of LSU. Best cornerback in this draft, without a doubt. I don't think anyone's going to challenge that opinion. He's the real deal. And pretty much best defensive talent in all the draft. He's the real deal. Some questions about his Wonderlic test, and I have an entirely different opinion on that. Those tests should not be leaked. Those scores should not come out. And I don't even think it really matters, but who knows? Maybe it does. I don't know. I'm not really an expert in all that stuff. You know, Morris Claiborne, number 5. Hold on 1 second. I've done 5 picks. Hold on 1 second. Be right back. Alright, sorry about that little disturbance. They just had to take care of some, dirty stuff right there. But anyway, let's get into it. Where are we? We're at their 6th overall pick. The St. Louis Rams select Justin Blackmon, wide receiver out of Oklahoma State University. There's been recently some debate over him or Michael Floyd, but I would still take Justin Blackmon. I still think that he's the real deal. I mean, there's some questions about his speed, but what? He ran a 4.5? Like, what's so bad about that? I don't understand what's the problem with that. He's a real deal. He's a big guy. I mean, I saw the sports science on him, and I was really impressed. Justin Blackmon, the St. Louis Rams will not be disappointed. And Sam Bradford isn't bad. I mean, there's this assumption that Sam Bradford is one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL. And I think that's wrong. I think that he really has some good talent. He just can't get talent around him. He didn't have anyone to throw the ball to. He finally got someone by the name of Brandon Lloyd, but he's gone. So they need a replacement for him. They're going to get Justin Blackmon. Hopefully Sam Bradford can stay healthy, and that way we won't have to see Kellen Clemens on the field. But we're going to see if that's a possibility or not. Let's move on to the other picks. And at number 7, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Quinton Coples, and this is my first bust of this draft. See, the problem with Coples is you can't, especially in college, you can't turn off the switch. You can't just say, I'm not going to play. This really shows me that there could be a lack of, I don't know, respect or just something. I'm not sure about this Coples kid. We're going to have to see where he goes, but I have a bad feeling about this, but knowing the Jaguars, they're not going to wait any second. I'll pounce on him and take him, but I don't know. I have a bad feeling about Quinton Coples. Number 8, the Miami Dolphins. They select Ryan Tannehill, the quarterback out of Texas A&M. Yes, they do take another quarterback. I realize that they already have David Garrard and Matt Moore. They're going to have another third good quarterback on their roster now. I mean, Ryan Tannehill, his stocks have been rising lately. I think the Dolphins are taking very good notice of that one, and the Dolphins were selected by number 8. Will he be good? I don't know. We're going to have to find out. I mean, he has a very big arm strength, but sometimes his footwork is questionable. He has a problem getting accurate with that big arm he has. Alright, number 9, the Carolina Panthers. I have them I have them taking Fletcher Cox out of Mississippi State. And now this is what I think is going to be probably the gem of this draft, the steal for the Panthers at number 9, really. Probably should have went to Jacksonville, but Jacksonville decides to do a little crazy right there. But Fletcher Cox, big defensive stud. I think he's going to be great for the Carolina Panthers. I think it's really going to be one of the best defensive tackles in the league probably 3 years from now. We're going to see where that goes, though. Number 10, the Buffalo Bills select Riley Reiff, offensive tackle out of Iowa. I would have said Corny Upshaw, but obviously they got Mario Williams in the draft, so they no longer need a pass rushing outside linebacker. So they no longer need one of those, or defensive end for that matter. So they're going to go Riley Reiff here, continue to help that offensive line after they now lost Demetrius Bell to the Philadelphia Eagles. So now the Buffalo Bills replace him with Riley Reiff. Number 11, we have the Kansas City Chiefs selecting David DeCastro, Get a good guard here. Open up the running game for returning Jamal Charles off of injury. David DeCastro will help with that. Also help the pass protection. Give Matt Castle some more room to operate. Because I do think Matt Castle is a good quarterback. He just needs more room to operate sometimes because the pass protection can be a little iffy. Number 12, I have Kuechly going to the Seattle Seahawks, helping them on defense. They already had one of the top defenses last year, so maybe they surprise us. Maybe go with wide receiver Michael Floyd in this pick here. But I do see him saying Kuechly because he is such a good linebacker who's very versatile. He can do good in coverage. He can also go down and help with the run game, which is why Kuechly goes here at number 12. Number 13, I have Mike Adams going here as the Cardinals continue to help their offensive line. They released Levi Brown, and he's no longer coming back. They're going to get Mike Adams here to replace him, and they're going to continue to help their offensive line, which is, I guess is good. Number 14, Dallas Cowboys. I have them selecting Mark Barron, which is a good pick. I mean, I heard he was injured or something like that after college, but he's still a very good pick of this situation. Safety out of Alabama. The Cowboys continue to help their defense because their defense really was a problem. It's not, their offense can be inconsistent. But the reason they blow fourth quarter leads is not all on Romo. The defense also has to stop the other team from scoring. People are forgetting that it is a 50-50 game, or even a 33-33 with the special teams also involved in there. But it really is a 50-50 game. Offense, defense. The offense may not be getting the job done, but the defense needs to pick up the slack when it comes to the fourth quarter. So the Cowboys continue to help their secondary. They already got Brandon Carr, and they're going to help it here by getting Mark Barron. Number 15, the Philadelphia Eagles select Dontari Poe, and what is a pretty surprise pick because they already have a pretty good defensive line. But I think that the Eagles are just going to see Dontari Poe and not be able to keep their hands off of him. They're going to select them Dontari Poe out of Memphis at this pick. Number 16, I have the New York Jets selecting Dont'a Hightower, and this could be a very big stretch for them. I do think Hightower is more of the lower end of the first round pick, but I do think that Rex Ryan is going to fall in love with him and take him at the number 16 pick. Whether that turns out to be good for them or bad for them, we're going to find out. Number 17, we have a steal. We have Michael Brockers, defensive tackle at LSU, going to the Cincinnati Bengals. Pretty big steal here. I mean, a lot of people reject him to go in the top 10. But, he keeps on slipping through the cracks, and he's going to end up in Cincinnati. Cincinnati helps their defense even more, even though they already have a very good defense. Number 19, the San Diego Chargers also get a big steal. Melvin Ingram is still alive here at number 19 for the Chargers, and they're going to swoop him up immediately as soon as they can. They already replaced Vincent. Well, you can call it replace if you want. But they helped, because you can't really replace Vincent Jackson with Robert Meacham. But they got Robert Meacham to help replace Vincent Jackson, which is good. So they're not really going to worry about wide receiver here. So they're going to get Melvin Ingram. Number 19, we have the Chicago Bears. Michael Floyd's still on the board, but they're going to pass in order to help the offensive line, which has needed help for years now when it comes to pass protection. They're going to get Jonathan Martin, our offensive tackle out of Stanford, here to help the offensive line, and they're going to have to let Michael Floyd. Michael Floyd still can't get drafted where we go. Number 20, Tennessee Titans select Michael Floyd. What? Now I know what you're thinking. The Tennessee Titans won't pick him. They need a cornerback. Well, folks, the Titans, they still didn't have one of the best offenses in the league. They were ranked number 8 in scoring defense last year. So, why go for defense when Michael Floyd, who should be in the top 10, is still on the board? They're going to snatch him up away from every team in this draft, take Michael Floyd, wide receiver out of Notre Dame, and steal that pick. Number 21, Cincinnati Bengals, once again, they select Stephon Gilmore. Another pretty big steal in my opinion. Still alive here. He's a good tall wide receiver. He's 6 foot, quarterback out of South Carolina. He's going to help them out very much. 22, Kendall Wright, wide receiver out of Baylor. He's going to get drafted here by the Cleveland Browns. I told you before that they're going to pick a wide receiver to compensate for their running back pick and Trent Richardson. And they really just put a lot of big offense near Colt McCoy. So Colt McCoy's going to have no excuses next year if he's not able to do good when it comes to the NFL season. 23, the Detroit Lions take a cornerback, Dre Kirkpatrick. So they're going to have another weed head on their roster. They're going to have no problem with that. They're going to pick him up here. 24, Pittsburgh Steelers select Cordy Glenn. He can play guard or tackle. I see him playing tackle for them for the most part. They could move him at guard, but I see him playing tackle. 25, Denver Broncos select Devin Still, defensive tackle out of Penn State. I think it's a pretty good pick there. I don't know. They're going to help with their defensive line. Elvis Dumerville was injured last year, so the defensive line took a hit. He is coming back, but they're still going to get some insurance here with Devin Still. 26, we have Houston Texans selecting Ruben Randall. They want to upgrade the wide receiver core after Andre Johnson got injured. And even when he came back, he wasn't the same guy, so they want to back him up. Gave Ruben Randall because Kevin Walter is not that great. He should not be a number 2 quarterback, wide receiver in the NFL, in my opinion. 27, New England Patriots select Whitney Mercilus. I think Bill Belichick is really going to turn Whitney Mercilus into more of a fundamental defensive end. Well, the thing is with Whitney, he got a lot of sacks. He led the NCAA in sacks last year. But he's not really that fundamental, so Bill Belichick is going to tweak him a little bit, make him more fundamental, and he's going to go there. Green Bay Packers select Nick Perry, defensive end out of USC. His draft stock has been falling as of late, but the Packers will pay no attention to that. They will still select Nick Perry here. 29, Baltimore Ravens select Peter Cons. They lost Ben Grubbs in free agency, so they're going to help the offensive line. Will he play guard? I don't think so, but it's still going to help the offensive line. Number 30, San Francisco 49ers select Stephen Hill. Now, there's been talk of Kevin Zeitler going here at guard, but I still see them still helping out their wide receiver core, even after they got Mario Manningham and Randy Moss. They're still going to help the wide receivers and get Stephen Hill. 31, Harrison Smith. Finally, the Patriots get a safety. Now, it is kind of a stretch because I see him going in the second round. Well, that's why I would put him. But I think the Patriots are going to jump the gun, and Bill Belichick will do his best to form him into a better player. And finally, Kobe Fleener goes to the New York Giants as the Giants improve their tight end depth. Alright, so, and they already have Jake Ballard. Anyway, guys, James Carter TV, comment down below your thoughts on my mock draft. Maybe even make your own mock draft if you have the time. Subscribe below for more. I'm out. Peace. Like, comment, all that BS.